Hey, this is Carla from the Butcher Babies.
This is George Corpse Fisher from Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, this is Rex from Kill Devil Hill. It's Wednesday 13.
This is Jazz from Devil Driving.
This is Motorist from Quad. You're listening to Rabid Noise
on Rabid Radio.
Turn it up.
Evan, how are you, man?
Hi, how are you? You got Evan, you got Mikey here too. Hello.
Oh, hey guys, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Well, guys, thanks for joining us on the show. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having us. Great to talk to you as well. Appreciate being here.
You guys have recently released the Dives EP, Everybody's Talking, and man, I think the thing I dig about the most is it doesn't sound like everything else that's out there at the moment. And it sounds like you guys have dug pretty deep in your own influences to create your own sound. What would you say that, you know, they would mainly be, where you've drawn from?
Thank you so much, man. I mean, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is just make the music we love and really establish our own identity. I think for us, we kind of all go back to the Beatles and the Who, the Kinks, you know, the real classics that have timeless songs. To us, the song is really where it's at. And all those bands just have countless classics.
A lot of bands don't seem to be, you know, it's all auto-tuned and it's all about going to the club, and it's all, I don't know, it's so plastic now, and that's why I think, as I said, why I liked it so much is it's real rock and roll. It's a rare thing these days, you know.
Thank you. The thing is, we don't really have to try, because we all kind of want to do the same thing. So we don't have to try to not sound like other artists that are out there. We all love the same thing, so we just do that to the best of our abilities.
There's never a question about who are the Dives. It's just, how do we get this as good as we think it should be, you know? It's never a question of what as much as how. So we've always been on the same page, and I think we're really lucky that we just kind of operate on the same wavelength, so it works.
That's awesome. And you guys all met at college, is that right?
No, actually. I was finishing up my senior year, and I was desperate to start a band, and I asked a friend Bob I know if he knew anybody who was looking to start something. He's very tapped into the New York scene, and he kept raving about this guy Mike, who he had just heard play, and that he plays great, he sings great, and he went on and on about him for probably about a week or so. So finally Mike and I chatted on the phone and set up a time to hang, and, you know, within 10 minutes or so of playing, we knew that we had to start something. It was just one of those moments that clicked. You know, we've all been lucky, and we've gotten to play with a lot of great players, but, you know, you don't necessarily have a chemistry with everyone, and the way that we kind of were feeding off each other was instantaneous. So I brought in Sergio, and he brought in Jimmy, and it started, you know, like I said, from the moment we started playing, as loose as it may have been in the beginning, it was there. There was that spark, and we knew exactly what we wanted. We just had to get there. And it kind of came full circle with this EP. You know, Bob, the guy who introduced Mike, and I actually produced it, and he does all our live sound. So it was a very natural progression of things, and really did happen organically. Like you said, it's just straight up rock and roll, and we really love what we do, so we just try and do it as often as we can and as best we can.
Unreal, man. Unreal. And, well, of course, you know, production of the EP is pretty amazing too. It sounds great. You know, I was going to ask, was it self-produced, but you said that, you know, it sounds like you guys have a good little team of, you know, within the band that, you know, you're all working towards the same goal.
It's a very homegrown thing, and we're all working towards the same goal, like you said. You know, the goal of the EP was never to turn us into something. It was to capture exactly who we are and who we are live. You know, if you come to a Dive show, you're going to see exactly what you hear on that EP. There's no crazy studio magic or trickery going on. It's just four guys doing what they love. You know, the idea was to capture the essence of the Dives in 12 minutes, and we worked very hard to do that. And, you know, I think we're all very proud of it. But that being said, it was really about capturing the essence of the Dives, not creating something that wasn't there.
And we're also very lucky to have a very good team to work with, people who are so good at what they do, to give us exactly what we wanted and then some.
That's super important, hey, these days. And it's hard to find. You know, the old saying, good help is hard to find. But when you get a good team, especially when you're starting out, I mean, I think that's so important. you know, and they're with you the whole way.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing is you all sing, which is something that isn't common as well in bands these days. Well, if they are, they're all auto-tuned and and it's just crap. But you guys are amazing. You've all got great voices. Like, I really like the laid background harmonies in Anticipation, especially. I mean, how tricky were they to nail? I mean, it's one thing to jam together, but to get all on the same wavelength singing-wise, that's something else.
Well, that's really something we work really hard at. I mean, we have rehearsals that are dedicated to just vocals. I mean, we'll sit outside on a nice day with an acoustic guitar and sing through songs endlessly to get the harmonies right. Because I think, like you said, it's something a lot of people kind of neglect or overlook nowadays. You know, to have four guys who can sing and sing well together is a blessing. We really wanted to make the most of that.
Especially the fact that, you know, that was so important to us when we were putting this band together, was that, you know, if you couldn't sing, it was going to be a lot more difficult to work with because we were so vocally into, you know, that kind of music. You know, we all wanted to be able to add harmonies and background parts, and because we're all influenced by music that has that. So we thought, well, we really want that in our own music. So we really need everybody to be able to sing. And so we'll get together and just have rehearsals where we'll do all of our songs and just play them acoustically, just so we can hear all of the parts that everybody's singing. So that way we can really, like, nail them.
Would there be a time that you think you guys might release something like a video or something like that that'll show that, like a bit stripped back, and where it's just you guys with some acoustics just letting rip vocally? Is that something you guys have considered?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Actually, we recently did an acoustic snippet of our song "Take It All," which was just something we threw up on Instagram and, you know, Facebook and all. But I could totally see us doing a full acoustic song. And, you know, it's kind of always been the plan to do that, just because I think it's something that kind of is unique amongst a lot of bands nowadays, is that we do have four singers who can all do it live. I think that's something we really pride ourselves on. We didn't put anything on that EP that we don't do live and that we can't do live. So to be able to showcase that in a more intimate and stripped down setting would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be unreal. I'd love to see that. That'd be really cool. And, of course, you know, you guys recently did a run of gigs with Kiss in the UK, which were arena shows. Man, it must have been amazing to hear your songs pumping through that massive PA, guys.
It's definitely a pretty surreal experience. The craziest thing really is to look out and see people singing the choruses back at you after they've only heard the first one. That's really just such a gratifying thing, to hold 20,000 people's attention. There's really nothing like it. It's funny, though, in terms of actual sound, the live sound, you know, we don't really hear the PA sound that much because we have monitors blaring at us. So it's really cool now to watch videos back and go, wow, that sounds huge. You know, when you're in the middle of it, I have 4 12-inch speakers, you know, 4 feet from my head, just blaring my guitars at me. So what we hear and what the audience hears is very different. So it's pretty cool now. We had rehearsal yesterday and just watched all the show tapes, and it was like, whoa, that actually sounds really cool. It's a really, really fun experience.
Also because in the moment, you know, you're trying not to think so much about how many people you're playing for. You know, you're trying to do your performance for the audience to the best of your ability. So you're not necessarily thinking about, you know, wow, this is so cool, and you know, I you know, it sounds really great in this building, and I can't believe I'm here, and look at all the people. You know, you're just trying to put on your show, and then it's a lot of times it's only after the show's over that, you know, when you watch a video or something, and you can say, whoa, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing to watch things back, and I think Mike kind of touched on it too. We're always really just the most concerned with putting on our show and the best show we can, whether it's in front of 10 people or with this 10 or 20,000. You know, it's going to be the same dive show, and we really pride ourselves on that. You know, we came back and played our favorite club downtown in New York for my birthday, this little place, Bowery Electric, and you know, it's like 150 cap place. But I guarantee you it was the same exact show that night as it was a week before at the O2, and that's something that we're really proud of. We don't half-ass anything. We go for it no matter where we're at.
See, that's it, man. That's it. Whether it's 100 people or 10,000 people, the energy seems to, it's kind of, it's not the same, but it's like you're still feeding that. How do I put that? I don't know how to put that into words, but I get what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Have you guys got plans to come down here to Australia? I mean, we'd love to see. I reckon you guys would go off.
We would love to. I mean, it's certainly something we've all always wanted to do, and it's a place we've all always wanted to visit. So it's probably, I'd say, number one on our list of places to visit next.
Yeah, hopefully it's the next stop. We got a national tour of the U.S. in August, and after that, maybe we'll be lucky enough to wait out the New York winter down there with you guys. I think that would be a pretty unbelievable plan if we can make that happen. Put some work into trying to drum up a bit of hype down there and then come down, because I think there's a lot of great stuff going on musically, and we'd love to be a part of it for a little bit.
Oh, for sure. No, you definitely have to come down here during when it's a little. We've got our winter now, so you don't want to come down here now. Come down when it's a bit warmer. Bring your boys, have a barbecue, and play some rock and roll.
Sounds like heaven.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, one last question though. What's next for you guys recording-wise? Because I mean, I've listened to these songs to death and banging for some more. You guys got another release coming up soon?
There's always stuff in the works. We got a lot of material, and we really want to get it out and share it with the world. But right now, I think the best thing that we can do is try and get people to want that. We need to create that demand. So thank you for listening to this stuff. And there's a ton of stuff in the pipeline. We're just trying to decide how we want to release it. There's definitely going to be a steady stream of output over the next few months. Whether the next follow-up is an EP or a series of singles remains to be seen, but I can tell you that there's stuff on the books to be recorded, and that'll be happening very shortly.
Excellent, guys. Well, Evan, Mikey, thanks for joining us on the show. It's been awesome hanging with you guys.
Well, thank you for having us. It was great talking to you as well.
Really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, man.